All right, so this is the part of the evening where we discuss a little bit about yoga philosophy. Philosophy is a bad word, but actually understanding what the real meaning of yoga is. Everything in the West tends to get a bit watered down, you know. You notice how there's always a guru of everything now, guru of gardening, guru of mechanics, but actually the real meaning of guru, even that, is lost in the West, Actually the meaning of that word means heavy laden. And what is it heavy laden with? Love for the Supreme. That's the real meaning of that word. So when you hear someone who's a good gardener calling himself a guru or herself a guru, you just say, come on. You might be heavy laden with dirt under your fingernails, but that's about it. So the word yoga is also like this. It's in most people, as soon as that word is vibrated, they visualize maybe someone in an asana or a posture, or doing pranayama or breathing exercises or like that. But actually, not really. That's called hatha yoga or pranayama yoga. The meaning of the word yoga in actuality relates to the spark of life and to the fire that spark of life is springing from. You are a spark of life. And you're springing from a fire, so to speak. And yoga means when that spark remembers again that connection with that fire, but it's in love. There's a connection of love there for that origin you're springing from. So the real meaning of the word yoga means yoke or link up. When you, the soul, reunite in love with the Supreme Soul. That's it. You can doubt me, but you can look it up. I'm not lying. So with that on board, the concept of understanding in the West is kind of very limited, because it's a lot of times based on what we call relative knowledge. Knowledge that may apply for some people at some point, but not for everyone all the time. All right? As opposed to what we call absolute knowledge, which is, it never changes. It's always the same, it's always true. For example, if I say to you, Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit, I am not matter. I am not this material body that is before you. I am the spark of life temporarily using it, as are you yours. If I say that to you, you can know that that's absolute knowledge. Okay, I didn't make it up. No man or woman in history has made this up and uttered it. It's eternally the same. It's just the way it is. Yeah. So when we talk about the Vedic source or the yoga source, the Vedic yoga authority, this is what we're getting into. It's not a light thing. Your spiritual life is the most important life. Yeah. We have different lives we lead, You may be a parent, so you play the parent life, right? I'm mum, I'm dad, whatever. You play the job life, what employment you have, or how you make, how you survive in this world, make money and, eat. So you have these different roles. Different people will know you according to their different connections with you. So this is all relative to time and space. It changes. But in the absolute sense, nothing changes. It's eternally the same. You are eternally a spark of life, as am I. And we're all separate individuals. It's not that I merge with you and you become me and I become you. It's not all one, let's have fun. No. I am not you. I may be the same essence exactly as you. I may appear the same as spirit soul, as eternal spark of life. But you know what? To experience love, there has to be two. There can't be one. The two can unite and become one with that love. Right? We know this. So the soul's connection with the Supreme Soul, the spark's connection with the fire is like that. How we apply it is through this chanting process. In other words, that one who loves you unconditionally is appearing as yoga sound. The original sound we hear is Om, Omkara. This is the original sound representation of the Absolute Truth in this particular universe. And then these other sounds descend to us. It's not that Gopala, Govinda, Krishna, Rama, whatever, were made up at any point in history. They're eternally been vibrating, they're eternal sound vibrations. Therefore they're on the absolute platform, as are you, as am I. So being on the absolute platform as eternal sparks of life, we have what's called an eternal function. If I'm eternal, it's a good question. What do I do for eternity? You're saying I'm eternal. Well, what do? Do I end this body and enter the womb of another mother and come back? Yeah, you can if you want to. If you want to. It's called samsara. The wheel of birth, disease, old age, and death. And it's like a wheel. And it's rolling, and we're on it. If you're in a body right here and now in this space, you can know you're on it. But you don't have to remain on it. What I'm experiencing at this point in my life, my body's now 71 years old. So when I was young, I remember probably about 20, I would have been about 22, I think. This dear friend of mine said to me, you're going to blink a few times, you can take a few breaths, and then your body's going to be older. And at that time, you know what, I kind of fobbed it off. I didn't take it very seriously. I said, oh, yeah, sure. It's so far down the track, who cares, And, then you burst into your life and live your life, But it's true. Now, as I blink and draw a few breaths, I find myself in this body, which is a lot older than it was. And, of course, the problems of old age occur. You won't know until you get there. You've been there before, but you've forgotten. And that in itself is a type of mercy, otherwise you go completely insane, remembering all the miseries of your past lives, But each one, birth, disease, old age, and death, that is samsara. They say birth is a miserable condition. You're stuck in a womb. You try and get yourself in a fetal position and stay there for 9 months. Good luck. Good luck. You won't be able to do it. It's described in the Yoga Sutras. It's described that life in the womb is very intense. Most of the time, the child is unconscious about what's going on. It has to be, because the pain of the body growing in that environment, and it's hard. It's a hardship. And then birth itself, as we know, can be very difficult, not just for the child but for the mother. So, birth, the process of birth. So it's an amazing process to experience, to look at and go through, and I'm basically a midwife personally. I've delivered most of my children, but and it's nothing quite like it. Haribol guy, where are you from? Where were you 12 months ago? You weren't here. Yeah, so 9 months with mum and then out. But that this soul is now under my care. I must take care. So this birth experience, then disease. You get problems happening with the body all the time. You may have good bouts of good health, long bouts of good health, but eventually there will be disease, some disease. If it's not physical, it may be mental. So there's suffering in that way. Old age. I was just bitching about a minute ago. And then finally the death experience itself, when everything starts to shut down. And, you know, you're thinking, oh yeah, I'll get it together on my deathbed. Good luck with that one. I've been around a lot of people who have passed away, and they need help. It's hard. There's a certain point where there has to be an acceptance of the situation, you know. But anyway, it's due to our actions in this life that we're living now, we can actually change our destiny, change our future. This is possible. I remember when my dear mother passed away, I moved into, she was in a hospice, she had bowel cancer. Anyway, I'm in there, I moved in with her. She was in New Zealand, so I flew over and just camped in a room with her till she left. And the first thing I said to her, you know, I said, you're not actually my mother, I'm not actually your son. We're playing these roles. Like Shakespeare said, you know, we come to this world and we play our roles like actors on a stage. And then when the curtain falls, you know, you go back, you go into another situation. And it's true, it's true. It's the wisest thing that man ever said. Because it points to that reality. Aham Brahmasmi, I'm spirit, so I'm playing this role, I'm playing, just like I was saying, people relate to you differently in this life. You play different roles according to who you are associating with. The role of a father to his son is different than to the boss at work, that's for sure. Or to the mistress, or to the, you know what I'm saying? Whoever he may be. So, in this life, because it's a human form of life, it's described in the Yoga Sutras that on our body are the 4 animal propensities. We have this eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. It's there. I don't know about you, but I know it's there. You know, everyone has to eat to survive. We defend in different ways, like accumulating your bank balance so you have a place to live, you're protected by that environment, so you're defending your existence here in that way. You know, if you're in a house, you may have some security up or something to stop people coming in. You might even get down to that level, eating. Then sleeping is there. We tend to sleep, you know, just like the animals do. And mating, of course. You know, the sense of touch, the sexual experience, whatever. So animals have this, but in the human form of life, we're given an extra facility, and that's the how can I put it? The ability to inquire, who am I? What is this? Is this something greater? In other words, that question mark as to your existence. That comes up only in the human form of life. Yeah? So, in this human form of life, it is considered quite a rare, even though there's so many, it seems to be so many of us, it's considered quite a rare birth. We get lucky and we get a human form and we have that facility. Everyone comes to this point in their life. Most people just push it to the side, yeah, and it's because they want to continue on just with what they're doing. You know, their sense gratification in whatever form it takes. Their enjoyment, so-called enjoyment in this world, distracts them from the reality of who they are. And they're quite happy and they're quite content in that ignorance. They want to, and that's their freedom. Everyone's free to do what they want. There's never forcing or coercion where there's love, you see. So, how far we take that question, you see, as individuals. It's up to each and every one of us. And what we do here is that we offer a system of yoga that is so simple that most people do not get it. And what is it? It's called Harinama. In other words, chanting the sound representations of Hari, the Supreme. There are no hard and fast rules for chanting. You don't have to be anyone special. You don't have to belong to any group or organization. It's totally an individual, personal experience. It's got nothing to do with anyone but you and the divine, whose sound representations you may or may not choose to chant. And whether these sounds come from different cultures, it doesn't matter. It's non-sectarian. Allah is a sound representation of the absolute truth. It means that one who is all compassionate upon the living beings. It's a nice way to address that original cause of all causes. Then in other cultures you have sounds like Eloi maybe, or Yaba, it means father of all living beings. Eloi, he who is my dearest friend. Quite intimate really, isn't it? I mean, thinking of the Supreme in that way, as not as something to be afraid of, or like, Jehovah, or in reverency. No, Eloi, he who is my dearest friend. It's quite intimate. Your dearest friend, what do? You play, you have jokes, you have fun. Yeah. So in the Vedic culture, there are also many unlimited sound representations of the absolute truth. We tend to chant those that are given to us in our line of disciplic succession, which has been around since time immemorial. It's called the Brahma Sampradaya, or in more recent history, the Gaudiya Math Sampradaya. So our spiritual masters are giving us certain names to chant, and we take these names. And we offer them freely to anyone. If you want to try, please take. Take into your own life, into your own privacy. Yeah. And if you want to chant them, chant them. If not, that's your freedom too. So it's no big deal to us. We simply pass it on, and that's all it's about. But the guarantee is there that if you do chant, there will be an effect. It's not whether you believe anything or not believe anything. It just happens. It's kind of like if you're really cold in the middle of winter. You wake up in the morning and you're kind of shivering, it's so cold, frosty, clear morning. But as soon as the sun comes up, if you manage to get in the path of the sunlight, immediately you'll start to feel the warmth of the sun coming into your body. And you don't have to believe that, do you? It just happens. But what you did, you took the trouble to associate yourself with that light, didn't you? So therefore, you get the benefit. So chanting is like that. Just by simply chanting, there will be a result. And the result is always very positive. There's nothing negative in uttering the sound representations of the absolute truth. Whether it be Allah, or Eloi, or Krishna, or Rama, Jehovah, we're not sectarian. However, we do like to chant the names that our spiritual masters give us. And this is what, I'm repeating, but this is all we're doing. We're offering these sound vibrations for you to take if you wish. If you find you're attracted to it, there's something in you that likes it or can see that, okay, this is actually so easy and applicable to me. If that comes into you, then fine. Talk to us and we can, we give you, direct you to soundtracks. You can play, you can have chanting around you all day long if you wish. There's many programs, but never think that it's about joining anything, because it's not. I mean, personally, I live in Geelong. I don't have much to do with this centre at all. You know, I just come here on a Sunday and they ask me to talk, so I talk sometimes. And, you know, it's not that my existence depends on a place like this, or, you know, of which there are many all over Australia, and they're there simply so people can find a way of approaching and finding this information out. That's all. It's a vehicle, that's all. It's because I know that only you can help you. Only me, I can help me. Yeah? Whether I always have the freedom to chant or not to chant. I know that when I chant, I'm very happy, naturally. There's a kind of contentment there that is hard to beat. The sound these sounds are called omnipotent. There's no difference between the sound of the Supreme and the form of the Supreme and the pastimes of the Supreme. Absolutely none, because they're all on the absolute platform. So within the chanting of these names is the entire spiritual sky, which is known as Vaikuntha. We chant the name Krishna, everything is complete. That sound simply means that Supreme Being who's completely complete in all things. 100%. Or beautiful, or powerful, or wealthy, or wise, or loving, or lovable, and on and on and on. That's simply what that sound vibration means. It doesn't mean a Hindu god or anything like that. Krishna. Nice vibration. And Krishna, there are, because there are unlimited potencies to Krishna, there are unlimited sounds that represent those potencies. And each and every one of them is worth vibrating if you want to. We have, you know, so many sounds to chant. So tonight, this is what we're about here tonight. We chant these sounds and we hope that you might consider chanting them in your own life. Take them with you. There's no charge, you can't sell the absolute truth, you know. All right, but don't underestimate that there's a great simplicity to it. You exist and your best friend exists. Your best friend appears as yoga sound for your benefit and my, and for me, for all of us, for our benefit. So without further ado, we'll chant a little bit, and what will happen during the chanting is I think they'll start bringing out some food stuff. And after eating, till about 6:30, we start chanting again and go through to about 8 o'clock. All right, so we'll do kirtan, like Rupa was doing earlier, call and response. Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana. Your turn. Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Gokula, Govinda, Rama, Madana, Mohana. Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana, Mohana. Gopala, Govinda, Rama, Madana, Mohana. Couple of times together. Go.